Welcome to Random Subjects from Everyday Life with myself, Dave Clark, aka Dustbin Dave, and tonight we have a very special guest after we have seen Cutting Crew live in Camberley in Surrey for our very special 80's music podcast. So, folks, sit back and relax, as Frankie Goes to Hollywood once said, and welcome Barry Chapman, or Bazhoff, aka Jackdaw. Hello, Jack.
Nice. How's it going, Dave? All right?
Well, fantastic gig tonight, Jack.
What a night, bruv. What a night.
Absolutely amazing gig from the Cutting Crew. We will speak about them a little bit later with the live gigs we've seen. But firstly, 80's music, Jack, right? This subject is literally
endless.
So, as we both grew up in the 80's, what do you like the best about 80's music?
Well, basically, I was born in the 70s, but obviously I grew up in the 80s. You know, teenage years, whatever. It encapsulates my childhood. And 80's music, it just rocks. There you go.
Exactly. I mean, I just love the vastness of the 80's. All the different styles and the songs. There's so many songs to choose from, isn't there? I mean, if we had to pick one single song, which we will cover later, it's just endless, isn't it? It's just
endless. So many to choose from.
There's all the one-hit wonders and the memories as well, Jack. I mean...
Exactly.
I mean, I sort of often, you know, if I'm in the shop or something or on the radio, you hear a song and it can take you back to that time in the 80's. And there's nothing sort of really like it. So it's amazing that it can take you back to that time and that era in the 80's.
That's the power of music, mate. Exactly. You hear a song... and it will take you... You hear this song, you think, oh my God, I remember the first time I heard that. It was like, it might be applicable to your first girlfriend, your first job, your first night at the pub with your mates, your first gig.
Yeah.
You know, supporting your favourite football team. The music encapsulates your life, doesn't it? It's there. Yeah. It's there, you know.
It sort of certainly takes you back. It takes you back to that moment in time, doesn't it? It takes you, if you like, you hear that song, yeah, it can take you back to that sort of certain time. But with the 80's, I'm not sure about you, Jack. Did you used to do this as well? But I used to record the top 40 every single week. Right?
Yes.
Now,
Bruno Brooks, and then Mark Goodyear. Yes.
Yeah, I was probably slightly before that because I'm 3 years older than you, aren't I? So, what I used to do, the top 40, every single Sunday night, around 4, 5 p.m, I used to get my tape recorder out and listen to it on the radio. And that was the highlight of my week. And I used to record my favourite songs and save them onto a tape.
Exactly. And every 80's child, mate, we all feel the same. The secret was you got to try to pause it at the end of the song before the DJ spoke.
That's right.
Classic.
And I actually used to pause it. I used to pause it, right, and add my own little comment. And I have got, well, they have unfortunately gone now, 12, 13 years old, 14 years old. I used to say, and that was so-and-so from straight in at number 3, Kajagoogoo, Too Shy. And you used to say that. So, that's an absolute classic stuff.
So it's a little DJ in your own little world.
Yes, yeah.
Lovely.
Unfortunately, those sort of tapes, they're sort of long gone now. Yeah. Had a massive collection of those tapes, which ended up in our loft. So, they've unfortunately gone now.
So instead of having a drawer full of socks and underwear, you had a drawer full of tapes.
Yeah, I mean, the tapes were pretty much endless. You used to pretty much record them every single week, every single Sunday, as you said, with the top 40. and we used to really enjoy those with the charts. And yeah, as you said, you used to pause it at the end of the song.
And give yourself a little pat on the back if you managed to pause it before the DJ spoke. Classic.
And here we go again. Number 1, Culture Club, Come a Chameleon. So that was absolute classic stuff. But unfortunately, these tapes don't last forever. They soon disintegrate. And I had a massive bag full, probably around 20 years later, I'd say, which I just couldn't play anymore. So unfortunately, I had to bin the lot. So that's a little bit of a shame, really. But anyway, folks, we have a couple of public comments here with your favourite 80s song. So first up, we have Donna Clark. Hello, Donna. Her favourite song from the 80s is Starship. Nothing's going to stop us now from the film Mannequin.
Classic.
Yeah, do you remember that film, Jack?
I went to the cinema, the wonderful cinema that's still there, it's so old, the Majestic in King's Lynn. I remember going to see that after school one night in 87. Loved it.
What a classic.
Hollywood, yes.
That's right. And she always said, Andrew McCarthy, who was in Mannequin, she always liked his blue eyes.
Well, there you go.
So, I mean, there you go.
But she's a lady, she liked Andrew. We're men, and we like Kim Cattrall. Yeah. And all these years later, fucking, sorry for the expletive, Sex and the City, Samantha.
Right.
She loved it. And she's in the first Police Academy film.
Yeah, that's right.
And Porky's. Lovely jubbly.
And she did like Tiffany. I think we're alone now. No, that's right, yeah. So, yeah, classic bit of Tiffany and Starship from Donna there. And, we have got another one. Hazel Benjamin says, oh, wow, so many favourites from the 80s, including Girls Just Want to Have Fun, from Cyndi Lauper.
Yes.
That's a bit of a belter, isn't it?
Oh, and I prefer True Colours.
Yeah, True Colours, Time After Time as well.
I Drove All Night as well, yes.
That's
lovely.
A bit of a belter, isn't it? Wham! Freedom. And, well, Hazel listens to 80s all the time. And this is a bit of a classic, folks. Once, with her daughter Annie, on a cruise ship, they sang Sunita's So Macho on a karaoke night. So that is an absolute belter, isn't it?
So Macho.
Yeah, that's a bit of blast.
I remember the follow-up, Toy Boy.
Yeah. That's
classic. Sunita. What a beautiful lady she still is.
Yeah, she's
looking good, man.
Definitely. So, Jack. Right, well, what was the first single you ever bought?
Physically, actually, went in the shop and paid my money myself.
Right, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'll take you back to a little day, back in 1984.
Right, 84.
I was about...
Wow. What an era.
10 and a half years old, summertime.
Right, yeah.
I was in a little clip on the morning Saturday TV show. Was it Going Live or whatever Noel Edmonds show was? Whatever it was, 84. I went to the cinema that afternoon, Majestic Cinema, beautiful old cinema in Lynn.
Yeah.
And I watched The Never Ending Story.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Love that film. And then when it finished, it's so funny. It's so surreal. You leave the cinema, it's still daylight. And I walked round the corner.
Right.
Checked what money I had in my pocket. I had enough money for the bus fare and I had enough money to buy a 49p vinyl single. And I went into Woolworths and I bought the theme song by Lamar. What a classic.
Bloody hell. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. 49p. Really?
Yeah.
Was that what they were charging at the time?
That was the normal price at the time for a 7-inch vinyl. 49p.
Wow.
In 1984.
Well, I'm literally going to fall off what I'm sitting on because that is
Fall
amazing.
off your chair, son.
I remember that well. Yes, yeah. So, was it like that was in Woolworths, yeah, Jack?
Woolworths.
Woolworths, yeah. Well, I was going to say that.
But living in Lynn, there was a better shop than Woolworths. Before Andy's Records came along, a lot of people would shop there. You go from town to town, you had an Andy's Records. You had a Woolworths.
Yeah.
But in Kings Lynn, we had Bay's Recordium. What a shop. Beautiful.
Yeah.
They had little listening booths. You could go in there. You ask the old owner. You could play the records, headphones on. And not only that, they had a wall adverts, live concerts. You can buy your tickets for a gig in that shop.
Exactly. Yeah.
Steve Jason Concert Travel, I think.
Yep. That was amazing place.
What a place.
Bass Records in Kings Lynn. But of course, Jack, Woolworths with the 7-inch singles, selling the 7-inch singles, and WX Smiths as well.
As well, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. You had choice. That was the thing. You could go to Woolworths, WX Smith. You go your local independent, Bays.
Yeah.
A few years later, Andy's Records turned up. Even Boots sold records and singles. Yeah.
I used to love, right, in my old school, I used to love, in my little breaks, going down in my little breaks to get the latest Madness single, maybe from my local Woolworths or WH Smiths. And I always remember, I think it was back in about 1982, there was a song by Ultravox called Hymn, Hymn.
Oh, and like a hymn in the church.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
And that is an absolute belter from the 80s. And I remember going into a WH Smiths in Colchester High Street and saying, have you got Hymn from Ultravox? And that was at number 40 in the charts at the time. And yeah, literally in those days you have the whole top 40 in the charts. The vinyl of the 7-inch singles.
That's all you had. Vinyl.
Which was
before
amazing.
cassette singles turned up.
Exactly. And they had it.
Oh.
And I took it away.
You had to have it.
So,
can you remember how much it was?
No.
79p.
Probably something like that. But it was amazing. You sort of go in the shop, like Woolworths, WH Smiths, and you see the whole top 40 singles charts, 7-inch singles, there for you to buy.
So getting back to what you said about that, so Lamar, first single ever actually went into a shop,
the first single,
and purchased myself. But there's a few others I've got to add to the list, mate.
Right, okay.
So my mum bought them, and I have acquired them. They were for me, but I didn't buy them myself. So we've got John Travolta, legend, my favourite actor, and Olivia Newton-John from Greece. You're the one that I want. We've got the 82, you'll laugh at this, the England World Cup squad.
Well,
this time we'll get it right.
I've got that on a 7-inch single.
So have I.
Signed by Steve Coppell from 1982. But
and
absolute classics, Jack.
I started supporting Spurs in 1981, FA Cup final, first game I've watched on TV.
Yep.
I didn't buy Ozzy's Dream. Ozzy's going to Wembley. His knees have gone all trembly. But the following year, mate, 82, I made my mum buy me the follow-up single, Tottenham, Chaz and Dave, Tottenham squad, 82 FA Cup.
Well, that sounds amazing.
80s was an era of good. Well, I say good, you know.
Yeah.
You can say how it is. It was an era of every team did a World Cup song and an FA Cup song.
Yeah, you can't beat those like fantastic football anthems from the 80s. But, Jack, you said your first single that you ever bought. Shall I tell you mine?
Yes.
Right, well, my first single that I ever bought was ABBA, Super Trooper.
I don't believe that. Really?
Straight up. Straight up. ABBA Super Trooper in 1980, And the funny thing with this one, my dog...
So you was 10 years old?
Pretty much, pretty much. And that was the first single I ever bought, and my dog actually chewed it up. Yeah.
No.
She actually chewed up.
No, mate.
I've
heard these stories about these excuses. The dog ate my homework. I've never heard my dog chewed my first ever vinyl record up.
Yep, straight up, my dog chewed up my first ever vinyl record. So, and that was ABBA. Super Trooper, way back in 1980, which was, obviously I was pretty gutted about that. But ABBA in the 80s, early 80s, absolutely loved them. And I belonged to their fan club as well.
Wow.
And the great thing about the 80s, you used to get, you sort of nowadays it's all emails and all that sort of crap.
Did you get fan letters and badges through the post?
Yeah, you used to get newsletters and fans newsletters.
Who is your favourite chick from ABBA?
Well, probably has to be the blonde one.
Agneta.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so, certainly Super Trooper from the 80s. ABBA was my first ever single. But, anyway, folks, we are on a little bit of a time limit tonight after watching a very fantastic gig tonight. So, Jack, what was the first album you ever bought?
This is the God honest truth. The first ever album I bought, it wasn't vinyl, it was a good old cassette tape, my own pennies that I saved up, and they're still my favourite band to this day, man. Def Leppard, Hysteria, in 1987.
Wow.
That is like rock's version.
So
that is rock's
Jack,
version of Michael Jackson's Thriller, bruv.
Right. So, Jack, is that literally the first album that you ever bought?
And I've still got the very same cassette tape, and it still plays.
What, on cassette?
Yes.
Or really, on cassette?
Yes.
Wow. You kept that? You've still got that now?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Wow. So
and it is one of only a few albums I actually own on cassette, vinyl, and CD. I've got. I like the originals. I like to have it in my hands. Yeah. I like the product. You open it up. You can read along with the song lyrics. I like having the actual physical product.
Yes, definitely. Well, I'm actually speaking to Jack Doyle now, and he's got his Def Leppard Hysteria T-shirt on. So that is an amazing album, Jack, isn't it? Amazing album from the 80s. So when did you first start getting into Def Leppard?
87. That album.
From the album, that sort of...
Basically, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Animal. It might have been Pour Some Sugar on Me. I see it on TV, and I was like,
yeah.
This band. Oh, I love this sort of stuff. I like it.
Well,
and I got into him.
That's great.
And until then, all I loved was Adam and the Ants.
Yeah.
And Shakin' Stevens. What a legend.
Shakin' Stevens. Oh my God. Well, we haven't quite got a green door, but well, it's a brown door anyway. But anyway, yeah. Well, my first album that I ever bought, right? Well, it's quite a special one, to be honest. My grandmother, from my dad's side, she got me a voucher, and I bought Now One. Now
that's what I'll call music.
Yep.
The compilation.
Yep.
Double album. Double cassette.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, I'm totally clueless to what it is now. It's endless, isn't it, really? But Now One, the first ever one. And I got a voucher, and I spent it wisely. I went into Woolworths and got Now One on vinyl, and I've still got it. An absolute belter of tracks on that. So yeah,
It's the first track on it. You Can't Hurry Love, Phil Collins.
I think so.
It's on there, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, but some classic tracks from around 82, 83. The first ever Now album.
Do you
know
what?
I
do believe my mum purchased the same album.
Yeah.
And I do believe, 40 years later, they started reissuing those Now albums on CD. Yeah. And I actually bought that one again. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, and the vinyl. I mean, we've spoken about the 7-inch singles and the 12-inch singles. Or we will do in a second, and of course the LPs with the vinyl with that. But 12-inch singles, Jack. Probably my favourite one of my collection is Frankie Goes to Hollywood, 2 Tribes picture disc, and I've still got it.
Lovely stuff. Nice.
I mean, with the singles, with the vinyl, 7-inch singles, 12-inch singles, the LPs. How much have you got in your collection?
Oh, mate, I must have at least... Wow. I must have about 100, 150 7-inch vinyl singles.
Really, yeah? Yeah.
And probably about 75 12 inches.
Cool.
Yeah. I would say out of that, both those 12-inch and 7-inch, I would say at least 40% are picture discs.
Oh,
I love a picture
wow,
disc.
wow. The picture disc, I mean, you can't really get that nowadays, can you? But back in the 80s, I remember buying Madness, Our House, around 84, 85, the 7-inch picture disc. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the Frankie Goes to Hollywood classic, Two Tribes, 12-inch picture disc.
Now, I didn't buy it at the time, but the, was it 84, the Christmas #1, Power of Love, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. There was a picture disc available of that.
Right, okay.
But my sister, bless her, she bought the 7-inch vinyl.
Right, yep.
And then later on, she didn't care about the vinyl, so all her vinyl, I kind of inherited it. There was so much Duran Duran, Spandau Ballet,
Yeah.
and every single Frankie had. But
Wow.
then, you know, when you get older, you
Yeah.
get a job, you get work,
Yeah.
and then you start hankering for your childhood memories. So I went on eBay. First time I ever went on eBay, I actually went and purchased Power of Love picture disc. I've still got it.
Okay.
It's fantastic. I love all that. So, Dave, I've got to ask, before we continue,
Yeah, of course.
what do you love best about the 80s and the 80s music? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the 80s is just a fantastic era, full stop, isn't it? I just love the vastness of the 80s, of all the different acts, the one-hit wonders, and the memories it creates, really. I mean, you could literally take yourself back in time and be in that moment. So, yeah, it's just a great era for music. And I think the best thing about the 80s is a lot of the bands are still going as well, like who we saw tonight, a Cutting Crew as well. So, absolutely unbelievable. So many songs.
Nick Van Ede, mate, he has still got that voice.
Yes.
He's got such a wonderful voice.
Yes.
And he's got the charisma, the stage presence. I love him.
So, Jack, well, in the 80s, we have such a wide range of genres.
Genres.
Genres,
Yeah.
Genres, yeah. Like pop, rock, new wave, synth pop, and heavy metal. So, what are your favourite 80s artists, Jack? Endless. Is it the bell? Endless. Endless.
It is endless. I mean, as a young man, I mean, the first two guys I used to watch on TV and I was like hooked on them, astounded by them.
Yeah.
It's got to be Adam and the Ants.
Yeah. I believe
Followed by that man in the double denim and the white shoes, Shaking Stevens.
Shaking Stevens.
Legend.
And This Old House.
Yes, legend. What a wonder.
And 1982. Or was it probably
81?
81 actually.
Yeah.
81. Oh my God, that's classic. Any other classic artists who you like from the 80s?
Well, there's quite a few. I mean,
there's a lot, isn't there?
Cutting Crew. You've got later 80s. Well, Bon Jovi, but I didn't get into them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Until they released Slippery Wet and Wet, Living on a Prayer.
That's right. I mean, there's just literally so many to choose from, isn't there? So many classic artists from the 80s. I mean,
there's another one I remember. I love them. Thompson Twins. I love them.
Yeah, the Thompson Twins. Absolutely amazing. They were. But I mean, for me, I've always liked Depeche Mode.
This I know.
Yep. U2.
Yes.
As well. Ultra Rocks. David Bowie.
Oh.
Duran Duran. Adam and the Ants, New Order, The Smiths, Tears for Fears, ABC.
When Smokey sings, I hear violins. I love that track.
Kate Bush, Tears for Fears.
Oh.
I mean, oh my God. The list.
So many lists. It's endless.
We'll have to get the bell out. We'll have to get the bell out again. It's literally endless. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing era, the 80s. 4 bands, isn't it? And we could literally chat for hours, couldn't we? About the best 80s bands and albums, singles, etc. But, I'll tell you what, Jack, yeah? The biggest selling album of the 80s, yeah?
I don't know. You need to tell. Is this a fact? Would my little mate Elliot, your son, would he tell me this is a fact?
Well, hello, Elliot. We miss you for your random facts tonight. So, but anyway, this is the random fact. The biggest selling album...
Is it Thriller?
Of the 80s, yes.
Is it?
Correct, Jack, yep. Was Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Now...
Yeah, in 1983.
Now, going off a little bit slightly to the left, so... Yeah. Def Leppard's Hysteria.
Yeah.
That is what you would call rock's version of Thriller. Because Jacko had 6 or 7 tracks from that album as singles.
Right, yeah.
Def Leppard had 6 singles as hits from their 87 album, Hysteria. So half the album were hit singles. That is what they've said. That I heard critics say that is rock's version of Thriller.
And that's amazing, really, about the 80s albums. They used to have so many singles from that album to promote as their singles. So, Jack, what are your favourite albums of the 80s? Your top 5. Your top 5 albums of the 80s. This is quite a big one, folks.
I've been thinking about this the last couple of days when you said about this.
Yeah.
And I've looked into it, and... A couple of these albums, I must admit, I didn't own in the 80s, but as an adult, getting older,
okay, yeah,
I know their stuff, and I've grown to love them. So, number 5, we have Vital Signs, Survivor. Number 4, The Living Years, Mike and the Mechanics. Number 3, it's got to be Slippery When Wet, Bon Jovi. Number 2. Oh, mate, one of the best voices on the whole planet. Morton Harkett and a-ha, Hunting High and Low.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Number 1, I can't go anywhere else. It's Hysteria, Def Leppard.
Right, yeah. Well, you've got the T-shirt on, Jack, so it has to be that one, doesn't it? Well, a fantastic album choice there. Well...
what are yours?
Well, mine is pretty much, as we say, endless. There's so many choices, isn't it, really? But certainly the favourites are some of the soundtracks from the 80s.
There were some fantastic rock film soundtracks in the 80s.
Labyrinth by David Bowie certainly springs to mind. The Lost Boys as well.
Oh.
That was a great soundtrack.
I still believe.
And like Flashdance as well. I love that Michael Sembello
Maniac.
Song. Maniac.
What a song.
Absolutely brilliant. Purple Rain by Prince.
Wow.
But I'll probably say, right, now, this was quite tough. There are quite a lot of albums that I could have put into this list. So it isn't really a top 5, but it's my favourite ones. But certainly Disintegration by The Cure is in there. Wow. That was in 1989. But certainly in number 2 or number 1 is The Unforgettable Fire by U2.
Wow.
1984. Some unbelievable songs on there. Also, Talking Heads, Remaining Light from 1980. And Hunting High and Low from a-ha as well. That's in 1985. But I think my favourite album of the 80s... Shall we have a little break, folks? Is probably my favourite band of the 80s, Depeche Mode.
Oh.
Yeah. Black Celebration.
Oh.
From
Classic.
1986.
Classic.
So then that's an actual belter of an album, and it has like personal memories and everything like that. So it's sort of.
I must admit,
album.
Dave, if I had to guess what your favourite album would be,
Yeah.
what the band was, the artist, I would say Depeche Mode.
Exactly. So, folks, we're going to have a little random fact. Here we go. Well, during the 80s, there were a total of 191 singles, which took the UK #1 spot.
Wow.
Yeah. And in terms of #1 singles, Madonna was the most successful single act of the decade. Yeah. As 6 of her singles reached the top spot. So, Jack, what are your top 5 singles of the 80s?
I had a little list.
Yeah.
You pre-warned me. I've got a little list. Do you want it from 5 to 1?
Well, entirely optional, that one, Jack.
Number 5.
Whatever you want to do.
Don't take the mic. This is out of the world, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Diamond Lights, Glenn and Chris.
Well, Diamond Lights, Glenn and Chris, yeah. In case people don't know, Glenn and Chris, well, Jack...
Hoddle and Waddle.
Yeah.
What a pair of legends. Tottenham Hotspur football players. And they did this song, right? I don't care what anyone says. If that song was recorded by The Cure, Depeche Mode, oh, that would be amazing. Because it was 2 footballers. It's a load of rubbish. No. Not in my opinion. That is a fantastic song. Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle, Diamond Lights, wonderful.
Exactly.
Number 4.
That's a bit of a belter, actually, that one.
Yeah, number 4.
Okay, Jack, yep.
Poison, Alice Cooper.
Ah, okay.
From the album Trash in 89, right? Now, until then, all I knew from Alice Cooper was 2 songs. School's Out and When Women Bleed.
Yep.
That song...
Oh, actually, Jack,
that song, Poison, that was like, oh my God. I loved it. 89, late 80s.
School's Out, that was an early one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, from Alice Cooper, wasn't it?
That was, like I say, that I only knew those 2 songs.
70s, wasn't it?
Until that song came out in 89.
Yeah.
And I bought the album Trash. That's one of my favourite albums. I love it.
Oh,
right?
dear.
Getting back to that. Number 3. Well, I've got to get Jovi in my list. Number 3, Living on a Prayer. Bon Jovi.
Yep, that's it. You're a massive Bon Jovi fan, Jake.
From Slip You When Wet, and you know it's had millions or billions of views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right.
What a track. Number 2, right? Touch me, how can it be? It's got to be The Sun Always Shines on TV.
Exactly. Yeah,
I love that band. I love Morton Harker's voice. I'm not going to go Take On Me because a lot of 80s, a lot of people get bored of that song. That song, for me, resonates for all time. It's superb. But number 1, well, you ain't going to be surprised. It's Def Leppard.
Right.
Pour Some Sugar On Me. From Hysteria.
Right.
Number 1.
Yeah, and obviously that was on the same album.
Yeah, Hysteria, yeah.
Well,
that is a classic.
Some absolute belters on that album, isn't there? Full stop.
Definitely.
Well, Jack, well, I want to do my top 5 now.
Go for it.
Okay, well...
5 to 1. Come on, in reverse order.
Well, what can you say about this? I mean, top 5 singles of the 80s. There's just so many. It is... we're going to have to do the bell again. It is endless.
Endless.
Yeah, we just cannot choose. It's so hard to choose. There's just so many. I would love to mention so many songs. Oh dear. So I'm going to go for number 5. Okay. Now, number 5, Kim Wilde, Cambodia.
Wow.
1981.
Wow.
1981.
Wow.
I've always loved that song. Absolutely brilliant song. And number 4, Soft Cell, Bedsitter.
Wow.
1981 as well. I sort of love the early 80s. Number 3, Depeche Mode, See You from 1982.
All I want to do is see you. Don't you know that it's true?
Number 2, The Lotus Eaters, The First Picture of You.
Wow.
From 1983.
Wow, that is a good song, man.
Yeah. And number one, it's a bit of an obscure 80s now. I do love the obscure 80s, the one-hit wonders. And this song has always stuck in my mind. And it is The Promise You Made by Cock Robin in 1986.
What a classic.
So that is my number one song of the 80s.
Cock Robin.
Yeah, there is so many to choose from, as we say.
I'll be honest with you, I did not know, I was not aware of Cock Robin in the 80s.
No.
But, we text, we message.
That's right.
And I remember you sent me this message, you was like, this is my favourite song of the 80s. And when you sent me the video link, go on YouTube and watch it, I was like, I don't believe that. Really? Wow.
And
Cock Robin.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, absolute belters. But we also got some classic comments from the general public, folks. So, we have Carolyn Louise. Hello, Carolyn. Her favourite track from the 80s, is the Pet Shop Boys and Suburbia.
Wow. Was it 84? Something like that.
I think it was slightly later.
85.
Slightly later than that. So, yeah, great track there, Carolyn. And Holly Clark. Hello, Holly.
Hello, Holly. Legend.
Her favourite track from the 80s is Disintegration from The Cure from 1989. Yeah.
Nice.
Classic track, that one. Absolute belter, that one, Holly. And hello, Gary Klein. And he has Anything by Talk Talk. And we'd probably say Life's What You Make It is his favourite. Now,
that's a fantastic song.
Yeah. Gary, thanks for that one. I mean, Talk Talk, I've always been a massive fan of Talk Talk as well. And Life's What You Make It is an absolute belter. Isn't it? It's an absolute belter, Jack. 84 to 86, I would say, probably the Talk Talk era. So, yeah, great comment there, Gary. Emily Gilbert has an absolute classic here, possibly Just Like Heaven from The Cure. It was probably the one that she played the most and cried to as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but she loves lots of others too, including Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart, and Stranglers Golden Brown, and Blue Monday, New Order. Now,
that is still the biggest selling 12-inch single of all time.
It is. And Emily, going back to your Golden Brown single from the Stranglers, I actually remember way back in 1982 when that was number one. I went to a jumble sale and I actually bought that. Single, and someone said to me, "Can I buy it off you for like 50p?" I think I paid like 10p for it, and I said no. And I've still got that single. I've still got the 7-inch single.
I'm sorry, rewind.
Brown.
Did you just say no, like the Grange cast?
Pretty much.
No!
Pretty much. And of course, our classic. Rob Heyman, a.k.a. Bart. Evening, Bart.
The Barnet Boy, legend.
That's right. His favourite single
of
the 80s is Kings of the Wild Frontier, Adam and Ants.
Nice.
Absolute belter. And also, Haircut 100, favourite shirts. And, I love this one too. It's an absolute classic from the 80s. And it really imagines, you can transport yourself back into this era. Torch, Soft Cell. Which is brilliant. I've just got a couple more folks. Just quickly, Elliot. Hello, Elliot. We've missed your random facts tonight. So we hope we've done you justice. Elliot's favourite from the 80s is Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure. So that's an absolute belter, isn't it?
Fantastic song.
That's an absolute classic from the 80s. And Andy Clark. Hello, Andy.
Not Andy, really?
Yeah.
Yes, legend. Go on, boy.
That's right. Obviously, hello, Andy. My brother as well. His favourite. Oh, Jack, you will love this.
Go on.
You will love Andy's favourite 80s single. Okay. Well, I think we'll have to take a little seat here. We're going to go for. Here we go. photographed Def Leppard.
Oh, well, there you go. Is it really?
Yep.
Well, Andrew Clark, I salute you, mate.
Yep.
Lovely.
Actually, Andy, I think we're going to have to do a little random clap for that. There we go. Yeah. Well, fantastic choices there, folks. Well, Jack, and the listener, we have a very special countdown now. We have a countdown to the top 10 singles from the 80s. Yep.
Wow.
Literally, the top 10 singles from the 80s. So, here we go. In top of the pop stove. Did you know that? At number 10, we have Jennifer Rush, The Power of Love.
Number 9, Culture Club, Karma the Chameleon.
Number 8, George Michael, Careless Whisper.
Number 7, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes.
Number 6, Don't You Want Me by the Human League.
Oh, number 5, from the movie Rocky 3, Eye the Tiger, Survivor.
Number 4, Stevie Wonder, I Just Called to Say I Love You.
Number 3, oh, let's get festive, Last Christmas, Wham.
Number 2, definitely Relax, Folks, by Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
And as they're including Christmas tracks, I'm sure you know what number 1 is. Do they know it's Christmas? Band-Aid.
What an absolute classic top 10 from the 80s there, Jack. And, well, Jack, I think you've got some random facts about the 80s and from what we've just been chatting about.
Wow. Let me check. Right, so during the 80s, there was a total, I didn't know this, total of 191 singles, which took the UK chart number 1 spot. Yeah. In terms of sales in the UK, Madonna was the most successful.
Yeah.
6 of her singles hit number 1.
We mentioned that before, Jack.
Yes, but George Michael also had significant involvement with 8 number 1 singles. 2 as a solo artist, 4 as a member of Wham, and 1 as a duet with the legendary Aretha Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. But, and as a member of Band-Aid. But the longest duration of a single at number 1 in the 80s was actually 9 weeks. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes in 84.
Wow. I mean, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes, 1984, yeah. And I think we mentioned this earlier in the podcast. I've still got the 12-inch single picture disc as well of that. So that is probably my most prized possession, along with Now One, on vinyl.
Well, there you go. That just adds to your legendary status.
So it's absolutely amazing, really. So, but as for 80s artists, I think we covered it before, Jack. I loved Tears for Fears, Duran Duran, Soft Cell, David Bowie, ABC, Depeche Mode, Ultravox, Culture Club. The list is literally endless. So, Jack, 80s eras, right? 80s eras, okay? Now, late 80s. What do you think about that? I mean, we had the birth of house music, okay? 87, 88 era, Stock, Aitken and Waterman. What did you think about the late 80s?
Wow. Late 80s. There was these random one-off tracks. I mean, Black Box, Right on Time, classic.
Black Box Fantasy as well. I remember that.
The album, yeah. But
that was a good one.
Getting back to Stock, Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah.
You had Kylie Minogue.
Yeah. So, Jack, the later 80s, did you like a bit of Stock, Aitken and Waterman?
Well, I might be told off for this, but yeah, I did. I didn't mind it. I mean, like a lot of the UK, I was in love with Kylie Minogue back in the late 80s.
Yeah. Well, the old
I used to watch Neighbours
Yeah.
avidly, and I still do. Even after the cancellations and comes back, I still watch it. But yeah, back then, and then stopped getting a Walkman. They brought it to the UK after she had a hit in Australia with the Locomotion cover, and then we had I Should Be So Lucky, Got to Be Certain. But yeah, I thought she was a hot little chick. Probably I liked her songs because I liked her. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was a classic series from the 80's, wasn't it? You know, Neighbours. You know, we used to I mean, folks. We used to work at cash and carry, and we used to pop home in our lunch breaks and watch Neighbours.
And Home and Away.
And Home and Away.
The Power Hour for lunch.
Exactly. Power Hour for lunch. And of course, yeah, exactly. So, what other random facts from that era, from the later 80's, Stock Aitken and Waterman era, have you got?
Well, obviously you had Kylie, but before Kylie, the first one that springs to mind, there was a few, but the big one was Rick Astley, from T-Boy to chart star. Yeah. But they had others. They had Princess, Sammy #1. They had Hazel Dean, Who's Leaving Who.
Hazel Dean,
brought her back.
Remember her.
And he had Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah.
What was it? Together Forever. He done a cover of When I Fall in Love for Christmas. The track, the Nat King Cole song, When I Fall in Love, he brought out at Christmas. That was a double A side, and when it started going down after Christmas, changed it over to My Arms Keep Missing You. And then obviously, Jason got a bit jealous of Kylie, having hits in the UK, Mr. Donovan, and they brought him over. Yeah. Next thing you know, first hit single, Nothing Can Divide Us, followed by the big #1 smash, Too Many Broken Hearts. Now, I know for a fact your wife loved that song.
That's right. I mean, hello, Donna. Yes, I know you love Jason Donovan, and you can't beat all the 80's Neighbours stuff, and he was actually playing in King's Lynn, wasn't he?
The other week, yeah.
And Hazel Benjamin, who might be listening to this, she saw him live. Oh. Last week, on Wednesday.
I bet she really enjoyed it.
The King's Lynn...
The nostalgia.
King's Lynn Corn Exchange, so yeah.
And then getting back to Neighbours, right? So, you had Jason and Kylie. They came from Neighbours. They had that Who's Christmas #1, was it? Especially for you.
Yes.
Because it was they a couple in real life? Was they not?
Yeah.
But getting back to that...
But... Yeah.
Don't worry about Charles and Diana getting married. The biggest marriage in TV history, mate.
In the 80's.
In the 80's was Scott and Charlene in Neighbours. And what was the song that was on there?
Yeah, it has to be. And of course, Charles and Diana, 82.
81?
81, sorry, yeah. Apart from those two, was...
Scott and Charlene in Neighbours. And the song they played... over that wedding montage. What a song. And I still love it to this day. To my dying day, Angry Anderson, Suddenly. What a song that is.
Yeah, an absolute belter from the later 80's. Yeah, absolute classic. Any other facts from the later 80's, Jack, or are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right, nice one. Well, yes, the later 80's... Yeah, we had some half-decent bands. We had, like, Johnny Hates Jazz.
Oh.
For starters. And...
Turn Back the Clock.
Yeah, Wet, Wet, Wet. And Belinda Carlisle, after she went solo from the Go-Go's.
Oh, Belinda, mate. Heaven is a place on earth. Just looking at her is heaven. Exactly, she's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean...
And what a singer. Lovely.
With the later 80's. Soul to Soul, yes, as well. But to be honest, with me personally, I wasn't so keen on like the house music and the dance music that started to creep in from 87 onwards. But my favourite era of the 80's was the new romantic era.
That is because you're romantic yourself, son.
It was the early 80's for me, folks. So, and that is 81... or 80 to 84. Now, folks, the New Romantic era. If you aren't too sure what New Romantic music is, it's a style of music that originated in the UK in the late 70s and early 80s. And it's known for its use of synthesizers, drum machines and electronic instruments. And the fashion was absolutely unbelievable. There were glamorous, over-the-top costumes, makeup, outrageous hairstyles, and the New Romantic artists included, and Jack Doyle's going to mention some New Romantic artists from the 80s in a second, included
Duran Duran, Spandau Ballet, The Flock of Seagulls, Visage, Ultravox, Soft Cell, ABC, Classic Nouveau, Depeche Mode, OMD, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, Heaven 17, Kajagoogoo, Adam and the Ants, The Eurythmics, Simple Minds, Yazoo, Thompson Twins, and so many more.
Well, Jack, I mean, oh my God, what a lineup! That is an absolute lineup. Now, folks, 80 to 84 is probably my favourite era of the 80s, all that new romantic stuff. And I actually dressed up as Adamant in 1981. And forget about props or anything like that. I actually used a kettle plug for a microphone and used some old welly boots to dress up as Adamant. And you can actually see that on our Facebook page, Everyday Life Podcast, on our Facebook page to advertise this little one. So yeah, that's an absolute belter. I mean, can't beat a bit of the 80s and the new romantic stuff. But yeah, I just sort of love that the early 80s, the electronic instruments and the drum machines and the synthesizers, OMD, Kraftwerk as well. It is literally
endless.
Oh, and Jack, well, have you got a random fact? Here we go. From the 80s that Elliot has told you that you're going to mention tonight.
Of course, but I knew this fact as well. But thank you, young man, Elliot, you little legend, for reminding me about one of my favourite acts of the 80s, Mr. Shakin' Stevens, the Welsh Wonder. The fact that he is in the Guinness Book of Records for the UK's biggest selling chart act, top 40 singles, units sold in shops from the 80s. What a legend.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I think deserves a round of applause for that one. There we go, folks. Yeah, you can leave our room now, folks. But anyway, Jack, well, of course, we have the birth of MTV.
Wow, I remember that.
MTV, basically music television, 1981, and it popularised music videos as well. And the first video published on MTV was...
Was it Buggles?
Yeah, Buggles' video killed the radio star. An absolute brilliant song. That was actually out in 1979, but yeah, they published that in 1981. So, Jack, what are some of your favourite 80s music videos?
Well, obviously, like you said, Buggles was first, but I do remember the classic Dire Straits, Money for Nothing.
Yeah.
Background vocals by Sting, for those who don't know. Amazing. And then you have, I mean, whenever you turned on MTV in the 80s, it was always Madonna, it was Prince, and it was that legend, the punk, the legend, Billy Idol. You'd always find his videos.
That's right. I mean,
9 times out of 10, you turned it on, there was Billy, giving it the big one.
I mean, that's unbelievable. The 80s videos. Ah, dear me. I mean, I'll have to use the bell again. It's literally endless videos from the 80s. I mean, personally, I love Kate Bush cloud busting.
Well,
I love the bit when Donald Sutherland, well, unfortunately, the late Donald Sutherland helps Kate Bush to organise her, weather chart on the hills. I love that video. Cloud busting Kate Bush. Rio, Duran Duran.
Yes.
On the boats.
Yeah.
On that boat.
That was one of the most expensive videos ever filmed at the time. But talking to Duran Duran, you can't beat a little bit of girls on film. That got banned by MTV for the titillation, the nakedness.
Exactly.
As did our classic from the 80s, our good friends Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
With
Frankie,
Relax.
Yeah. You can't beat a bit of Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Film, but we loved it.
Cool. Also, of course, Sledgehammer, Peter Gabriel, unbelievable.
Fantastic clip.
Video.
And you get these iconic images. You just said that, 80s videos. The one that sprung to mind. Robert Palmer, Addicted to Love.
Yep.
The girls in the mini dresses, tight tops, guitar and him swaying with them. Wow. That's
right, exactly. House of Fun, Madness as well. That was a great video because that was filmed on our local beach. Well, in a great Yarmouth of all places. And, of course, do you remember this one, Jack? Godling Cream Cry, with all the changing faces.
Beautiful song and a fantastic clip. But I'm going to... I'm going to bring to you one of the best videos of the 80s. You know what I'm going to say. Aha, Take On Me.
Oh, yes. Well,
over 1 billion views on YouTube. 80s at its finest. What a video!
I mean,
artwork.
I mean, there are so many videos to talk about. I mean, literally, folks, we could be here all night talking about 80s videos and talk about them and what you thought about them and everything. But yeah, a Take On Me. It's great. A video, wasn't it? Especially when she went into that cafe as well. And when she opened that little book,
comic book, yeah,
and they came out of the comic book, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, MTV and videos in the 80s was brilliant, wasn't it?
And you know what I loved about that? The follow-up single, "The Sun Always Shines on TV." Yeah. They continued that little clip.
Yeah,
there was Morton, right. There was the girl. Can I have her? Can I not? And it carried on.
Yeah.
And then Morton ran off. Next thing you know, he's in an isolated church.
That's it, yeah.
With about 1,000 mannequins.
Wow.
The Sun Always Shines on TV. What a song that is.
Now that song, Aha, The Sun Always Shines on TV, made #1 as well. So, that video for that, 85, 86? Yeah. I think possibly 86, wasn't it?
Getting back to the 80s, this little comment here is going to encapsulate the 80s. The next one, Hunting High and Low.
Yeah.
The single from the same album, Hunting High and Low. The video clip. Morton, he was walking down the street. Next thing you know, he's a lion.
Yeah, that's right. It sort of
he's
changes,
an eagle.
Doesn't it?
He's a shark.
And
I still remember watching that on Blue Peter, how they made that video clip.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I remember that as well. But here we go, folks. Right, 80s gigs. Now, in our era, okay, we're sort of in a certain era in our lives, over 50s now. So, in our younger years, we probably might have been a little bit younger to see these bands, but we have been lucky enough to see in our later years some bands live. So 80s bands. Personally, I've seen David Bowie live in 1990 on his hits tour. Depeche Mode 3 times now. Duran Duran as well in the 90s. The Cure, I was lucky enough to see them 2 years ago. The Alarm, way back in 87, In Excess. I saw them as well in 87. Billy Idol in around 87 era. U2 3 times. Toya. Saw her in a gig around 12 years ago, plus on the Let's Rock 80's tours. Midjaw from Ultravox. Mark Armored, Bananarama, 5-star as well. It is pretty much endless, but well, not a lot of these bands I did see in their heyday. Oh, of course, Adam and the Ants as well, or Adam Ant as a solo artist, I have seen as well. So it is really good to see these bands from the era that you love nowadays. And they're still touring, like what we saw tonight, Jack, with the Cutting Crew. So, Jack, what 80's bands have you seen now or in the previous eras?
Well, this will take you back. The first live gig I ever saw, and it was on my initiation in live music and gigs, was With Your Good Self, way back in 1990, so just out of the 80's, the legend that is Billy Idol, at Wembley Arena, 1990, Charm Live Tour. But technically, the Choir Boys were the first band I saw live because they was a support act. And then, getting on a bit later, I finally saw the Legends Aha. 2002, the Lifelines Tour at Manchester, With Your Good Self again.
Oh, yeah. Well,
followed by another gig a few years later at Manchester Apollo. So, saw Aha twice. I mean, absolutely amazing. Morton Harkett, that man, what a voice.
So, yeah, I mean, Jack, you sort of love gigs. You sort of love going to concerts. What other 80's artists have you seen, apart from what you've
You can call them 80's, but they're still going strong, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Def Leppard, my favourite band. I have seen them live at least 6 times.
Wow, that is amazing.
And, you know, David Coverdale, what a voice. Whitesnake, I saw him live at least 3 times. U2. I remember going to see them at the Etihad with you, early 2000s. What was it? Vertigo tour. How to dismantle atomic bomb. Amazing.
And you're hoping, possibly, to see Kim Wilde live as well, aren't you?
Well, I'm going, mate.
In a couple of weeks.
I am going, because I found out the other day that the Cutting Crew were supporting Kim Wilde, who I've never seen live, on her next tour. And after seeing those guys tonight, I've got to go and see them again.
That's right. I mean, you know, Cambridge...
Get in early just for the Cutting Crew, because they are absolutely fantastic.
I mean, you know, Cambridge as well. It's just down the road for us, really, isn't it? So that's pretty good. Well, folks, we are going to read out... we're heading towards the finish line now, folks, but we're going to read out some classic 80's tracks. Now, there is so many to choose from, and we're sorry if we didn't mention any of your favourite bands or any of your favourite songs, because it's just totally endless. But here we go. We're going to read out a few absolute belters for you from the 80's CD we've got in front of us. So here we go. Soft Cell, Tainted Love, New Order, True Faith, The Human League, Love Action, Howard Jones, Like to Get to Know You Well. Oh, yep, I love that one. John Michelle Jar, Oxygen, Gary Newman, Friends Electric, Paul Hardcastle, 19, Heaven 17, Temptation, Nick Kershaw, The Riddle, Bronski Beat, Y, Alison Moye, Love Resurrection, Thompson Twins, Doctor, Erasure, The Circus, Animation, Obsession, what a tune that is. Alphaville, Big in Japan, what a tune that is. Blue Bonds, Living on the Ceiling, Blind Monkeys, It Doesn't Have to Be This Way, Darryl Hall and John Oates, one Visage Night Train, and the absolute belter Ultravox Vienna. Now I'm gonna hand over now live disc 2 for Jackdaw to read out live, and appreciate this, folks. We have seen the Cutting Crew live, so we have had a few beers. So here we go. Disc 2, Jack.
Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Sweet dreams, Eurythmics. Don't go. Yazoo. Shout, shout, let it all out. Tears for Fears. Spandau Ballet. To cut as long stories, thought I lost my mind. Well, Daryl Hall and John Oates. I can't go for that. No. Culture Club, Karma Chameleon. Adam and the Ants, Ant Music. Oh, there it is. Classic. The sun always shines on TV. Aha.
Belter.
Falco, Rock Me Amadeus.
What a classic, 85.
Buggles. Video killed the radio star. Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me. Backing vocals by Michael Jackson. That is a fact. Herbie Hancock. Rocket. Thompson Twins. We are detectives.
Bit of a classic.
Oh, we are. Oh no, I remember this.
Bit of a
Furniture.
classic.
You must be out of your brilliant mind.
What a tune that is.
Brilliant
Furniture.
mind. Oh,
Brilliant
mate.
mind. Amazing.
The Lotus Eaters. The First Picture of You. ABC. All of My Heart. And the last track on this album, oh my God. I know his real name's Colin Vercoom, and the track is, he was under the title of the artist Black.
Yeah.
Wonderful Life.
Wow.
What a classic that is.
That is an absolute belter.
Stick that on your Spotify.
That is a classic track, Black, Wonderful Life, from 1987, I believe, Jack. So yeah, that is an absolute belter of a track. Well, folks, we have just scratched the surface tonight on 80s music. It is a so much vast subject. So we have, Jack, we've seen Cutting Crew live tonight, haven't we? We've seen them live in Camberley, and they played some absolute belters. So we're going to finish with a little, possibly, a duet. Not quite as good as the band, but you can see what you think for yourselves.
Picture, and then we've had another.
Here we go, folks. We have had a late message from John Surtees and his favourite song from the 80s. Well, John, thanks for sending this one in. It's an absolute belter from the 80s. John Giles Jay's Centerfold by John Giles. Oh, yeah.
Oh, forget that, Dave. I've had a late message from a good friend of mine called Jen. She lives in Kingsley and she's a school teacher. She's a lovely lady, and she's given me a top 5
from
the 80s. Number 5, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah,
Bonnie Tyler.
Good tune, 83.
Number 4, Every Breath You Take, The Police.
That is a belter. 83 as well.
Number 3, one of my favourites, Eye the Tiger, Survivor.
Ooh, that's good. 82, do you reckon? Yeah, I think so.
Number 2, as used in the soundtrack to the film A Mannequin in 1987.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to stop us now. Starship.
Donna's favourite, 87-ish.
Jen's favourite song from the 80s is Queen, Radio Gaga.
Oh, wow. What a tune. 1984? Around that, 1984.
From the Works, yes.
Yes, and with the previous comment as well, with Centerfold. What a tune that is. I do have the 7-inch single of Centerfold from the J. Giles Band. That is it. It's a bit of a tongue twister tonight after a few beers. So
Too many beers.
Well, yeah. Thank you for all the comments, folks. Well, folks, thank you for listening tonight to our 80s podcast. And to finish, as we've been to the Cutting Crew tonight, live in Camberley, we're going to finish with a little bit of a duet. So, here we go.
I just died in your arms tonight. Must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight.
Thanks for listening, folks.